Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. Will Z be on time today? No, Z wasn't on time. He was tardy, but he wasn't late, right? About 5 minutes late, so we tardy, right? I am streaming while Dr. T is streaming, which is not wise at all. Um, and I caught some of his stream. I will be going back and listening to the replay. Shout out to Dr. T, Hassan Johnson. He actually had, because he wants to review that interview of Dr. Richard Reeves. I watched it also, so definitely would like if he does that. I'm probably gonna still do my own review of it also. Um, okay, y'all check out the links in the description box, and it is the Empire Strikes Back. It is not black men. It is not some type of black male patriarchy. What black male patriarchy? It is white men. And Mr. Z sets this off with the. Let's go through what I linked and why I linked it. Um, we have Armio Frimpong. Actually, my stuff is kind of out of order because I have Nick Fuentes saying your body my choice or your body our choice, speaking about obviously white men controlling white women's bodies and um whether they can, delete their children or not, or delete their unborn children or not, right? You have Armio Frimpong, the funky academic, in his response and conversation about Donald Trump winning this election and what it's going to mean for women and some of these BS jobs. You have a very, very long think piece from um, Kim Foster speaking about the 4B movement. We're going to focus a lot heavy on that. My thumbnail is The Empire Strikes Back, Star Wars. The songs I chose was once again the theme for Empire Strikes Back, Star Wars, um, and James Brown, Payback, right? So many of us have heard that song, grandparents and whatnot, parents and grandparents and whatnot. So why Z? Why all of this? Why this? To speak on the Payback. And Army speaks on it. The Funky Academic speaks on it in his own way. How you're going to have the Vivek Ramaswamy's and the Elon Musk pretty much shred all of the BS jobs that are mainly going to affect women. Some of these office jobs that women were used to beat up on blue collar men. Shout out to Kim Foster. Ooh, Miss Foster. You're gonna be good, Miss Foster. You're gonna be good. A lot of your subscribers, though, ugh, right? Um, and so essentially, like right sizing, and that's the term. If I can remember correctly, that was the term the Funky Academic was using. Armiose Frimpong. This is about to hurt. Mr. Z has said it. Yeah, like the professional managerial class, and you heard Miss Foster speak on this a bit. Um, she actually spoke about exerting power on others. She Freudian slipped there. I heard when you said it, Miss Foster. You said what you meant. You said what you meant, right? Exerting power on others. That's what you were trying to say. And white men got something to say about that, right? That was a Freudian slip, huh? So what Mr. Z is speaking on tonight, once again, is the Empire Strikes Back. The white male empire, white patriarchy, white male leadership, white male domination, white male hegemony. This is not something as a black man necessarily to celebrate, but it is to say women, white leftist women, or quote unquote progressive and liberal women, and definitely black women, the ones that aren't card carrying divestors and swirlers, because the card carrying divestors and swirlers want to end up with these type of white men. But all the others, oh boy, did you miscalculate like a mug. And I would argue, Miss Foster, you're still miscalculating. I agree with you that we're not necessarily going back to some 1950s or some reimagining of the 1950s, because even the 1950s isn't exactly what white folks or white men think it was. With that, Miss Foster, it was very interesting watching you acknowledge hypergamy and hypogamy. It was interesting watching you, and you said yourself, now that we're here now, Now you can have a real, because what Miss Foster was saying in her own way, and that lets me makes me wonder whether you listen to me or not. Don't worry, even if you do, I fully expect you to never acknowledge it, and we'll just pretend like you don't. Okay, fine. Miss Foster, it's bigger than what you're saying. Like, understand. I'm glad that we're having a real conversation now, and leftist women like you can stop pretending like the women aren't hypocrites, huh? Now we can have a real conversation about women and dating and marrying up, and how y'all are running into the ceiling that, wait a minute, did I overeducate myself and overstatus myself and put myself in the position where only a handful of men are above me financially? Miss Foster, we ain't even talk about looks yet. Ooh, goddamn. Shout out to all you husbands cheating on your extra average looking wife with the fine chick. Huh? So, I'll say this, Miss Foster. There's some very cringy parts. She speaks about teenage sex a lot. Um, she speaks about growing up, especially for her age and pretty much Z's age. Also, young, horny. Some of these things I somewhat agree with is just really cringe and weird coming from her, because it's like she's trying to like she's trying to shove it, pause, in like men's faces, like, yo, like, this is what it is, this is what it is. And I'm, yeah, that sound nice, Miss Foster, but once again, white men got something to say about that, white conservative men. And they're going to make it real difficult for, maybe not you, maybe you're high enough to somewhat shield yourself and insulate yourself, but everybody else, ooh, huh? A bunch of your subscribers, ouch, right? um and so towards the end, Miss Foster actually, she admits that, okay, maybe we went too far with the um essentially the hot girl summer stuff and the quote unquote, excuse my language everyone, whole phase, right? Maybe we might have, as millennials, we might have went train tracks. Maybe we went too far with this. um and she's pretty much speaking about a certain age cohort, maybe younger Xers to around her age. So let's say 33-ish to like 40, let's say 43-ish to 33-ish. Um, but yeah, and it was interesting listening to Miss Foster speak. Um, but my response to Miss Foster is Army Ose Frimpong. This is why I was saying earlier that I put those links and they're not in order. I should put Kim Foster's link, although it's like 2 hours long, first, and then put Armio Se Frimpong's link, because it's as a response. I put Nick Fuentes to emphasize what white men are thinking. There's another link, and I'm searching for it, and I don't remember if it's Louder Rick Crowder or if it's Charlie Kirk or one of these conservative guys. That's it. Oh yeah, Project 2025. Yeah, it was real. Yeah, we were lying about it not being real, and how the left was exaggerating it. Yeah, it's real. So for anyone that comes across the link, or whichever one of those conservative white dudes said, yeah, we were lying, it is real, and yeah, we're going to try to emphasize and push this. Please, either send it to me in email or you can link it. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. Um, but we have to emphasize this. It's the Empire Strikes Back, and y'all were antagonizing too much. I put Army's link to emphasize also what Army was saying. Leftist white women in particular, who spend way too much time over indexing on abortion, well, once again, baby deletion, and who over index on just white collar work, white collar work, white collar work, because that's all they know. And either they do white collar work, or the men that they're interested in are white collar workers. The men that will provide for them and make them stay at home moms are white collar workers. And as Army said, the dusty Negroes like Z, and we're saying not like dusty as in like don't do anything, but dusty as in like literally get dusty for a living. Um, yeah, the ones of us that actually do real jobs. Shout out to Sarge Willie Pete. Maintain the physical infrastructure, guys. Uh-oh. That doesn't mean some of the white collar brothers don't do real work. Yes, y'all do real work. I've been white collar also. I know about the mental strain. I know about the reports. I know when things got to get done. Mr. Z's been there. Mr. Z's one of the rare breed that went from white collar to blue collar, right? With that, you're gonna have to prove that you don't have a BS job. Uh-oh. This is about to hurt. Huh? So Miss Foster was covering the 4B movement. Now I gotta give her her props. She pretty much saw it as an internet TikTok trend. The women ain't really about it. I'll give her that. She pretty much said that from the jump. It ain't really gonna happen like that. But she does speak to the lowering birth rate. She does speak to essentially we're not going back to the days of yore, the days of yesteryear of men, overtly, I guess what, quote unquote oppressing women. I don't understand what she was really trying to say there. Let me say this. Miss Foster, you took Africana studies. Are you not weren't you an Africana studies major? What white people do you know that Mr. C don't know? Huh? What who are these white men that you think can't flex power and make women feel it? Make white women feel it, and because black women love being white women's mascot, make black women feel it. Make Latina women feel it. Make Asian women feel it. Who are these white men? What America are you talking about? What America are you speaking about? Huh? And I know I might be borging right now. Don't worry, I'm gonna repeat it. But Mr. Z is saying, Miss Foster, you are an Africana Studies major from Harvard. From Harvard, not from some rinky-dink nowhere school. From Harvard, you fashion yourself as an intellectual. What white men are you talking about, Miss Foster? I would like to introduce you to JD Vance. He also went to Ivy League, Yale. Uh-oh. And if Mr. Z is correct, as I suspect, JD Vance is a white, red pill white dude, we're about to see whether you're right or not. Huh? Because all these women, that would include some black women, who were doing these jobs, had these little careers, and then you think because you have these jobs or these careers that you right, that you are better than your male counterparts. We'll see. We'll see. Right? So you listen to her speak, and there's some interesting things that Miss Foster said. She spoke on about 30 of her close homegirls, I guess college homegirls. Remember, she went to Harvard. And out of the 30, remember, Miss Foster is about 35 years old, if I'm not mistaken. Out of the 30, about 10 are married, maybe with kids, I think she said. Miss Foster, they're bumping up against geriatric pregnancy, Miss Foster. It ain't looking good. It's not looking good, Miss Foster. Huh? It's not looking good. Miss Foster, I am fine with women, black women in specific, saying, you know what? I don't want to get married. I don't want to have children. I do not want to participate. I definitely don't want to get married to a black man. Black men, dusty, blood, like you. Ooh, blue collar. Ew, yucky. I don't want to get blue collar on my hands. Ew, disgusting. I hear you. But Miss Foster, you do know men can respond back, right? Uh-oh. You do know that men can respond back, right? You do know that when men respond back, that women may not have an answer to that other than this talk of this 4B movement and not having children. Oh, huh? Miss Foster, You. This is why I say the Empire Strikes Back. Women like you, Ms. Foster, have had the microphone for some decades now, particularly in the black community. When it comes to the discussion about black men and black women relationships, women like you have had the microphone for a few decades now, right? Unchallenged, at least for 3 decades. Me, really more like 4. And there's a response to that. This is the response to that. Donald Trump election. And it wasn't even black men that delivered you Donald Trump. It was white men, ooh, and say it Z, and white women. Huh? How did you not see this coming? What America are you living in, Miss Foster? Liberalism and its discontents, Miss Foster. The age of anger, Miss Foster. Men have a response to women like you in your a-hole, smug ass attitude. It's not because you're an educated black woman. Please, before one of you lameoids, is it because she's educated black woman? These are the people that say, oh, when you call a woman bossy, it's really an insult. I hear you. I hear you. Right? It's really sexist. I hear you. That's why I didn't say it. I said what I meant. Smug asshole. Oops. And if you watch the video with Miss Foster, you see the way she's moving in her chair again, and the facial expressions. She can't help it. Smug, smug, next level smug. And I'm not saying that Army would sanction what I'm saying and how I'm framing his argument. I'm not saying that. So if Army, shout out to the Funky Academic, if he comes up on this, he has every right to disavow me and my framing of what he said. Right? What I am saying is my response to Miss Foster is Armio Se Frimpong. And I would see Mr. Z, although I can speak well and I can enunciate my words and I can speak with this tone right here, right? I don't I'm not a I'm not of the same pedigree. I don't necessarily speak the same language as a Miss Foster and an Armio Se Frimpong, right? So my response to Kim Foster and this world where negative liberty is the number one most important thing in the universe to these weirdo ass women, my response to her is Armio Se Frimpong. Huh? That's my response. And everything that Army said, all of you with these BS jobs, women, um, these soft jobs, all you're really good up is sucking up. Ooh, there's a pun in there. That's how you kept your job. Huh? You may not wake up in the same America come January. Huh? Uh-oh. Come February. Yikes. Huh? I've seen, I'm a leftist. I've seen some of those people that's going in who Trump is appointing. It's a smorgasbord of the most evil characters you could possibly imagine. Dear Kim Foster, your ideology helped to deliver that to us. Ooh, god damn, Z. Yeah. Yes, Miss Foster, your ideology helped to deliver that to us. Your concepts of the very toxic, the most toxic negative liberty y'all could practice over there in Black Women Landia. Your smug ass attitude White men had an answer to that. And now we got to deal with the 80-year-old, 12-year-old and the red pill white guy and their administration that's a smorgasbord of the worst cartoon villains you could possibly imagine. Huh? What you thought you just was going to be parading and prancing around America with your smug attitude, your smug ass face, your sexist, misandrous ways. I see that shirt you have. Misandry's not real. Yawn. Huh? And you think white men weren't going to have a response to that? White men are about to. Anyway, white men are about to flex on white women. And you know who's going to get hurt the most by that? Black women. Latinas are about to feel it too, by the way. Asian women are about to feel it. Because the more white men that end up with white women, oops, Asian women, yikes. All y'all that was playing mascot for white women about to feel this. For white liberal women, you're about to feel this. You want to be the face for their extreme feminism, their radical feminism? Okay. 4 years at the least. 8 years in the middle, maybe 12 years. You let Jenny Vance get in there. Huh? We'll see. And to watch this stream with Miss Foster, and it's still the same thing. Lady, y'all just got a thumping. Huh? And we'll pause right here and thank you for the super chat. And Southern Purchases, what's up, Z? I saw so many Miss Parker walking around Miami this weekend. All right, Miss Parker's hysterical. I understand why you be stopping mid sentence sometimes now. Hey, oh man. Let's just say Southern Purchase. I had some paperwork issues with one of my. So y'all know I have the Z, I have the M. The M I had bought in from Ohio, secondhand, and I've been driving the car for over a year. Come to find out, all the paperwork was. I could tell y'all now because everything's settled. But yeah, all the paperwork was all type of messed up. I've been driving this car for over a year. Everyone finally got everything finished today, but went to the DMV today and Southern Purchase, hey man, temptation, right? Yeah, I ain't trying to get hit upside the head with a pan by Ms. Z, but Jesus, not exactly Southern Purchase. Now you see why I'll be pausing mid sentence. You know when you looking and you stop looking and you know they looking and then they let you know they looking. Because if women don't want you to see them looking, you won't catch them looking. By the way, right? They're really stealthy in that way. But if they let you catch them looking, that's because they want you to catch them looking. Kareem, tell me I'm wrong. Toya, tell me I'm wrong. I'm just saying. Somebody tell me I'm wrong, right? I'm like, lady, you drive a Volkswagen Atlas. That means you have a man. You better stop it before you get both of us messed up, right? You drive a Volkswagen Atlas. I doubt you don't have kids, ma'am. You probably have a man too. Stop it, right? Now pay back attention to the counter so I can pay attention to the lady talking to me about my goddamn car, right? But yeah, y'all give me a second. I know I'm in a dead zone. Y'all give me a second. And we're back. My apologies, y'all. My apologies. But yeah, so it's good to see the Southern Preachers understand not the struggle, the struggle, the struggle, right? Man, that oof. Yeah, yeah. In South Florida, yeah, we got some booger wolves. Yes, we do. We not everybody's a looker. Mister Z ain't no super looker. Ain't no not all of it, but disproportionately, whew, think it's only New York and LA that really got us beat like that, like that. I'm sorry, Atlanta. I'm sorry, Chicago, Dallas, Austin. Nope. Right. But yeah. So, and we're back. Um, and once again, Southern Pressures, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat and a slight derail, a slight derail. But I digress. We're back. Um, so the links here, once again, are to emphasize this may be new normal, possibly. Now, this could be a blip. I don't want to overstate Donald Trump and JD Vance. With that, I don't want anyone under any illusion, all my subscribers, everyone listening, I don't want anyone to underestimate this change, right? I want to stress that. Huh? JD Vance, and remember, Mr. Z keeps on stressing JD Vance's name. Not as much Trump, but JD Vance. Yes, he's VP. Yes, he's still working under Donald Trump and Donald Trump's leadership. Right. Mr. Z understands. With that, let no one be under the illusion of what this next 4 to 8 to 12 years could turn America into. Right? Because as I was listening to Armiyose Frimpong, the funky academic, all I heard was Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk trimming the fat. And if they set the precedent that trimming the fat means a whole lot of people are going to be out here twiddling thumbs, twiddling fingers, particularly women. Ah, and that right there would be a response to a Miss Foster and to the white versions, Leisha Miller of Miss Foster. As Mr. Z continued to say, shout out to Toya for being here, Kareen, wherever you are, compassionate. As Mr. Z said, the professional managerial class. The professional managerial class. Is it all professional managerial class? No. The professional managerial class. Y'all got the world all type of messed up. Y'all have America all type of messed up. Particularly you white women, professional managerial class women. Huh? The ones like that look down on others, the ones that couldn't imagine them, Miss Foster, couldn't imagine them um with someone that have different worldview, does different type of work for a living, gets themselves dirty, gets their hands dirty, works with their hands. Huh? Giggity. Huh? It's about to look ugly. Yeah, I saw it. And International Ronin says, so true, Z. Like I said earlier, anytime Joy Reid wants to take a step back to concentrate on community and prioritizing black men black men, hard times are coming for them. Yeah. Anybody want to doubt whether BGS was right or not? Hashtag BGS was right. They're at the table. They were at the table since Kevin. They were at the table since COVID. By the way, everyone. They just were trying to negotiate as high as they could possibly go. Those days are over. Now they're gonna start to negotiate wherever they can fit in. You better time to get it where you fit in. Even Jason Black low key told y'all that. These women are gonna try to get it where they I would argue. And by the way, eh, I don't know about desperate vagina, but either way, oh, they're gonna be negotiating different now. Are you gonna still have the smug Kim Fosters running around? Yes, those were always gonna exist. Is it gonna be that many of them? Now let's put it this way. This is what Mr. Z is saying. What we had for a couple decades, adjusted for inflation, of course, were women that were making 38, 45, 50, 55, $60,000 a year. Maybe 65. Once again, adjusted for inflation, who were looking down on the brothers making 40 and 38. Wait, Z, that kind of overlaps with what the women were making. I know. That were looking down on the brothers that were making 38 and 42 and 45 and 50,000 that were both white or blue collar, by the way, but definitely blue collar. And you had that less for the boomer women, to be honest. I'll give the boomer women that. A bit more for the extra women, but millennial women, oh boy. Huh? And so you had women who were maneuvering and speaking like they were Kim Foster or Ebony K. Williams. I saw the little jab. I heard that little jab from Funky Academic about the bus driver. I heard you, Army. I heard you. Shout out to Army O'Say friend Punk, right? He hey, Army just jabbed Ebony just a little bit, just one of them quick jabs, huh? So you had women looking down on these men, and we don't know if that's going to be the case in the upcoming few years, maybe even decade or so, maybe even couple decades, huh? So I heard this rumor. I didn't know it was official or that it was true. And Kareem says it's gonna happen. Did you hear about the black female worker not serving Trump supporters home in Hurricane, um, in FL, North Carolina because of politics? So I thought I heard something like that, but I didn't. I thought it was just some rumor. I didn't know it was actually like it really happened. Huh? Leon says, Mr. Z. So you telling me he does not listen to you? I don't know. I don't know if the funky academic listens to me or not. I don't know. I don't know if he listens. I don't know. I just speak like these people listen, but I don't know if they listen. The only person we know listens occasionally, and we don't even know how often she does, is we know FD has listened in before, so we know that, and we know Chrissy. Those are the only two confirmations I've ever gotten. Right? Yeah, that's the only two confirmations, and but yeah. And I'm not even saying FD and Chrissy are even in the same lane. As much as we disagree with them, they're not necessarily in the same lane, right? So yeah, so the funky academic or anyone else um outside of like Black Manosphere or Black Manosphere somewhat adjacent talk, yeah. I've never gotten confirmation of anyone else. So yeah. And I'm not expecting it. I understand my space. I've looked at my demographics and who listens. It's like when it comes to women, it's like Toya, Kareen, and maybe a handful of other ghost female listeners. Probably the same people I speak about, maybe, possibly. Um, but yeah. Um, Funny enough, my pre-records do way better with women than my lives do. Way better. But I haven't dropped a pre-record in a couple years, so there's that. Um, but yeah, so there's that. It was Matt Walsh. Thank you, Cyrus, and thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And Cyrus has emailed you the Project 2025 quote from Matt Walsh. Thank you. I kept on thinking it was Louder with Crowder or Charlie Kirk or yeah, Matt Walsh. So there you go, ladies. That's gonna have an effect on you, Miss Foster. Maybe not you per se, Miss Foster, but your subscribers. Oh, they better buckle up, Miss Foster. People like you helped to hand us Donald Trump. People like you helped to hand us Donald Trump. Yes, FD signifier. Yes, a lot of it was a vote of spite. Y'all should have told Kim Foster and Leisha Miller to shut the hell up with their smug ass faces. Y'all should have been told them to shut up. Huh? Now, white men and white women and a bunch of Latino men. Huh? I didn't even see the numbers for Asians. I'm pretty sure it's a lot of Asian dudes too and women. Uh-oh. With the white husbands. Whoops. Just handed this country Donald Trump and JD Vance and a smorgasbord of cartoon villains. There's a consequence to your disposition and your demeanor, Miss Foster, in your negative liberty, Miss Foster. There's a consequence. You do not exist in America by your goddamn self. You selfish prick. All of these people is wax poetic about caring about women and women's issues and the feminists. All they do is wax poetic about black and women. And do you actually care though? No, community doesn't come at the opposite end of your F up. And now you seeking grace. That's not where community come in. Now you're talking about building community. And by the way, the left always talks about building community, particularly the black left. No, you don't get to walk around here giving people the middle finger and not participating. And yes, I'm going to say it. Ooh, Z, you about to say it. Ooh, I'm about to say it. You know what else is part of being in community? Having children. Oop, goddamn. Uh-oh. Never mind that Mr. Z is 38 with no kids. But, oh yeah, what you thought? Uh-oh. Z, you just said that. I said it. Now is Mr. Z for forced monogamy and forced? No, no, no. We ain't doing that. We ain't going that far. We ain't going there. With that, having kids, forming a family is part of community. What are y'all talking about? These people want to walk around here, do whatever the hell they want to do, run into a wall of their own messed up decisions, and then demand community help them. What? What are y'all talking about? You want to be smug, entitled a-holes hiding behind your college degrees and white liberal men with some influence, and some power, yikes, these BS white knights who are the if Miss Foster, if you think these conservative white men are Z, calm down. If you think these conservative white men are patriarchal, oh wait, Z, wait, before you finish your sentence, Z, wait. The women are already acknowledging benevolent patriarchy. Remember? Uh-oh. Remember, Miss Foster did kind of show a bit of contrition, just a smidge, just a teeny tiny bit of honesty, where she was like, essentially, Now that we're here and now we can have a honest conversation about hypergamy. Oh yeah, I told y'all they were your class enemy. Miss Foster always knew this was a thing. She got confirmation, by the way, you're late as hell to the party because now she's talking about, and by the way, what you're referring to, we covered a couple of years ago with economically unattractive men are leading to a downturn in marriage. I'm glad that you're finally here, Miss Harvard educated Kim Foster. That's what the men were saying the whole time. That's what Z was saying the whole time. The men are running into women's hypocrisy. Now that we're having an honest conversation and y'all are telling us that you're holding your wombs hostage because you're mad that you can't marry the elite rich, mainly white guys. Because there's only so many of them to go around. And all of you want to practice hypergamy. Or at least marry on your same economic level and maybe educational level, and there's only so many of those men to go around. Oops, even though men earn more than women, even black men still earn more than black women. But the women keep on assuring us that the math ain't mathing. Z, what does this have to do with Kim Foster and the election and Armio Frimpong and his think piece? Everything. How do you think we get here? Huh? And once again, Cyrus, thank you for this. I'm gonna put that link in the description box after the stream. Thank you very much. All right. Once again, thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And Joe says, and thank you for the super chat. Oh, well, super sticker. And thank you. I'll leave that up for a minute. Right. And thank you for the super sticker, Joe's. Right. There's a cost to your negative liberty. And Miss Foster, you might have insulated yourself to a certain extent. I see you more and more playing around with having children. You've been saying it for a few streams now, Miss Foster. Mr. Z been listening long enough to remember when you were adamant about not having children. Now you 35 and now you starting to waver. Why is Mr. Z laughing so hard? Because eventually they all women. Huh? Eventually. Miss Foster, you're Miss Foster, you're showing your age a bit, Miss Foster. Huh? She had to check a couple of people in her comments about why would women want to have sex with men? And then she spoke about the horniness. She spoke about how our dopamine receptors are fried, which I somewhat agree with. There's certain things that she say I agree with. When she go into mommy mode, there's certain things she say that I agree with. When she go into Auntie Kim mode, there's certain things I agree with. Huh? But yeah, Miss Foster, I've said it before. It's the same thing I said to Crystal and Karazin. Let me say it to you, Miss Foster. Y'all help to radicalize the next generation, and they're even more radical and more extreme than y'all. And then they run into the wall and crash, and it's always your fault. The boomers did it to the Xers did it to millennials, and the millennials did it to the Zs. Huh? And so you have Gen Z and younger millennial women than you, Miss Foster, listening to you, sounding insane, and even you have to be like, whoa, 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 wait a minute. Mr. Z came in the door. I understood the responsibility of my channel. My critique of women and black women's behavior was never on some delete them. It was never on some push them down the stairs. It was never on some um women got cooties throw rocks at them. It was never on some quasi LGBT, some political LGBTQ crap. It was never on that. Huh? It was never on some walk them to the edge of the cliff. I never wanted to, and that's why I didn't walk young men to the edge of the cliff of a lifetime of antidepressant pills, and then Mr. Z turns around and gets married and watch my subscribers, the youngest of them, drown in loneliness while Mr. Z is good? Huh? Mr. Z walked in the door. When I was single, I was single. People know about Mr. Z's relationship. They know about Miss Z. I've been very clear. What about you, Miss Foster? Uh-oh. Huh? There's a number of you that it's beyond negligence what you have done. And at the fringes, y'all trying to reel it back just a little bit, just a smidge, because white men done put their foot in y'all ass, as Mr. Z always said they would. Mr. Let me pat myself on the back. I gotta do it. I gotta do it. As I said, it's not gonna be black men that put the foot in y'all ass. It's gonna be white men. Well, here's their big toe in your rectum. Goddamn, Z. Yeah, they're gonna try to reel back all of that because they're trying to push white women back in the home as much as they can. They're trying to strip all these BS jobs from white women. That's what this is about. And black women are about to feel that. Huh? What y'all thought? I kept on saying it. Is it me? What America are these people living? What America are these are black people we're talking about. What America are y'all living in that Mr. Z's not living in? What alternate universe are y'all living in that Mr. Z don't know about? What did Z miss? I didn't need shout out to Army of Sid Frimpong. I didn't need him to say it. I've been saying that's what they're gonna walk in the door on. I didn't need 4 hour long pieces on Project 2025. What are white men's concerns? What are their issues? Boom. Okay, look, okay, yeah. They got an issue with women, with with outsized influence, even though it's still elite white men running things, but they're using women as a buffer. These blue collar dudes are are gonna flex, right? The Elon Musk of the world, even though they got contempt for them, they play don't. By the way, Elon is not your friend. But you got a bunch of red pill white boys about to walk into the White House. Have fun. I didn't say black men. It's not a bunch of Kevin Samuels and BGSs walking in the door. Y'all got a bunch of red pill white dudes walking in the door, starting with JD Vance. Have fun. Y'all should have negotiated with us. Huh? So when Mr. Z did get a whiff of Project 2025 and now you have the people saying one of the architects of it, and I clicked it. It's in my history. I'm gonna listen to it. We might cover it. Where he was saying, yeah, it's a thing, but the left over exaggerated, and we've been doing this since the '80s. So pretty much the same framing that BGS gave us. But remember, at first they were quiet as hell. They didn't say anything. Now they're saying, okay, yeah, it's real, but it ain't that serious. Come on now. Uh-oh. What's going on, AO? And AO says, y'all hit my main my main Negro, Mr. Z button. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Thank you, AO. Thank you. You're a scholar and a gentleman, even though you're from Texas. You should have known I was gonna jab. You should have known. You should have known. Right? Huh? This is some off the wall stuff. We are in 2024. People should be preparing to colonize Mars or something. Find out what's in the middle of Jupiter. Go land on one of Jupiter's moons or something like that. Instead, we had weirdo white feminists and their sensibilities running things for the past few decades. And white men said, I'll be having no more of that. And the empire strikes back. And once again, Joe's, thank you for the super sticker. Thank you for the super sticker. Right? I should have read this earlier. And Toya says, and thank you for the super chat. And Toya says, zero sum game plus transactional. Oh, I said transactional. Sorry, Toya. I'm over here misreading Toya's goddamn super chat. Toya says, zero sum game plus traditional progressivism equals a cacophony of cunts. What's the incentive? What's the incentive? Right? Yeah, no, yeah, Toya, that's actually a really good social math. How are you zero sum and then get mad when you win because now there's not enough men on your quote unquote level? And shout out to Lion. We're not even factoring how attractive you are to those men. Oops. I know what niggas mean. I know what niggas mean. Right. Shout out to Zoe William. I know what niggas mean. And AL says, no, it's niggas. I.e. the definition, niggas meaning king and queens, us, you, and me. Right? Huh. So no, yeah, Toya, no, it is. And shout out to Trell. Trell might catch this on the replay. Trell. So my goal today is as a matter of fact, Trell. You got really bamboozled today. You got pushed over to the side. My goal was to finally work through these streams. Shout out to um Chief Rucker. Shout out to Buckeye Fan, um Compassionate, and Trell. So I was gonna do Trell stream tonight. That was the plan. Um, I was iffy because I was cutting it kind of close. I wanted him to get enough notification to be here for the stream, but I wanted to do the Tierra stream tonight. That was the plan. Um, and then something told me scroll through YouTube, and then I saw Miss Foster had just ended out her stream, and I was like, oh, and I saw the title, and I was like, I gotta listen. And there's certain things I agree with. There's certain assessment I agree with. And then I saw Army So Osei Frimpong stream, and I was like, oh yeah, this is a perfect response to that. And so yeah, Trell's stream just got pushed back. Right? No, no, I said Negro instead of niggas, but yeah, no, I knew what you meant. I know what you meant. Right? So going back to what Toya saying, zero sum game plus traditional progressivism, shout out to Melissa Ford. Um, yeah, no, it equals much of where we are. And I gotta give it to Miss Foster. She spoke to that. You could see, oh my God, you're a Harvard graduate. You are a Harvard graduate, bro. You are a Harvard graduate. And she said, don't let social science. Did she say social science? Social maybe socialist. She either say no. She didn't say socialist. She said, God damn. How did she say that? She either said social science Kim come out or something like that. Either way, the social math. Yes, Miss Foster. The women are running into the wall of what they advocated for or what their foremothers advocated for. The women wanted to go to school, they went to school. They wanted to be able to go to college and universities. Okay. They wanted to be able to go to Ivy Leagues potentially. Okay. They wanted to be able to open their own credit cards, own their own property without a man's say. Okay. They got all of that. Cool. Now it's time to get married. Now their biological clock is punching them in the uterus. Right? Now it's time. Now they actually want to be coupled up. They want to have children within nuclear family. Even Miss Foster said if she is to have children, she wants to be in marriage just because of the way marriage works. And in America, this is where men feel the most attachment to children. And even if it ends in divorce, the man is more likely to be in the child's life. Unlike maybe European countries, yes, Judeo-Christian values in America. Uh oh. Not saying that other European nations don't have that, but once again, Judeo-Christian values in America. Yes, Miss Foster, you're correct. So yes, Miss Foster, the women are running into the wall of what they advocated for. When I say the men run into the women's hypocrisy, I know of what I speak. And you essentially said the same thing. That's what just happened. Now that we're here, which, by the way, Miss Foster, how long was it going to take you to actually admit this? You know, you say these things and you keep saying them and you keep saying them and you keep saying them and you stressing them. And shout out to my subscribers for your patience, for hearing Z say the same thing and reiterate the same thing in different words and bring up different videos and bring up different lectures and bring up different over and over again. Overall, emphasizing the same point, although we sometimes we go on a little tangent and we speak about something different, but it overall is the same thing. Families, 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 men and women and kids, families, families, families. What? That's what Mr. Z's talking about. Shout out to y'all for y'all patience. You say the same thing over and over and over again. Shout out to Mama and Papa Z because this is where Mr. Z gets it from, right? And then you finally get these people to somewhat acknowledge it at the fringes, right? Even though they still go in the wrong direction at a million miles an hour, right? Yes. So Miss Foster, essentially, if I remember the word she used, was interesting. But what she was attempting to say is women go to college more than men, and essentially under the age of 30 earning more than men is causing some interesting dynamics. Yeah, the women don't want to marry the men. The women don't want to date the men. So are you admitting it's not the men's insecurity, it's the women and their hypocrisy? Uh-oh. Huh? Is that what you're admitting, Miss Foster? Yes. When I say culture is downstream from politics and vice versa, politics is downstream from culture. Which one of them said that? Newt Gingrich or Rush Limbaugh? One of them said that, right? It was a conservative that I'm borrowing that phraseology from. But they're right. They're 100% right. Young men, young white men in particular, feeling slighted by successful women. And it's not just, well, at least for white dudes, I don't know. For black dudes, at least, it's not because you're successful, it's because you're an asshole. Huh? That was going to have an effect. So, what did the black men do? Date out? Uh oh. Marry out? The ones that had the money? Passport bros? The ones that didn't? SYSBM? The ones that had less? Get into different other hobbies? That was always going to have an effect on your politics. Miss Foster, your negative liberty and other women that think like you, white, black, Latina, Asian women that think like you, your negative liberty, Donald Trump's election is a response to that. And yes, I heard you still wish ill on all the men that voted for Trump. Yes, I heard you still do it. Yeah, by the way, she's still wishing ill, borderline death on all of you men that voted for Donald Trump. They start getting real unhinged when you don't do what they want you to do. When they when you don't do what they dictated you do, yeah, they start getting real unhinged, right? Miss Foster, you might want to reevaluate, right? Zero sum game plus traditional progressivism is how we got here. The women wanted to win against the boys and the men. The girls and the women wanted to win. You know, I said this maybe over a year ago. I said, no, the women did win. They got exactly what they wanted and they hate it. Was that on Dr. T stream? It might have been Dr. T stream. I was like, no, let's say that, ladies, you got exactly what you wanted and you hate it here. Oops. You didn't do the social math. What happened? By the way, also, Miss Foster admits that a certain cohort of people are still getting married. Yeah, because those men and their position represent the goddamn patriarchy, even if he's not a card carrying quote unquote patriarch. His education and status level, his ability to enjoy his leisure time, maybe not work so much. Mr. Z knows all about this. Huh? That represents something, and the women are flocking to that, right? Oh boy. Yeah, you know, when you realize that it's not just a black thing, that people vote for who they like and who resonates with them, and it is about the gut. When you realize all this talk of policy wonk, by the way, I'm not saying policy doesn't matter. And I've seen for the past couple elections, everybody talking about policy, policy, policy. Y'all don't give no damn about no goddamn policy. I'm talking about the left and the right, by the way. You go for who you like. There's already been studies on this. People don't vote for policy. People vote for who they like. George W. Bush understood this well. That's why he's the guy type of guy you would have a beer with. Oh man, y'all playing with Z's likes and Vince's. Excuse me, 39 likes, 76 viewers. Z, play the dial-up sound LMFA. I'm laughing my butt off, right? Yeah, y'all get Z's likes up. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. How we got 39 likes? That's what? All you ghost listeners, please hit the like button or the dislike button, right? Preferably the like button though. And what's the incentive? Let's end out with that comment for Toya. I'm not saying end out, but Toya, what's the incentive? Maintaining your society. Maintaining a society where the women can go and buy your nice clothes and buy your nice little baby Audis and Benzes and your Tesla Model 3s and your now y'all buying them little GLA Benz SUVs because you can't afford the big boys. Um, right? What's the incentive? The incentive is that you don't starve. Huh? The incentive is that you could go shopping. The incentive is that you don't have dudes hitting y'all upside the head as you walk out the grocery store and grabbing your goddamn lettuce and cabbage and all your pause meat and actually maybe doing that to you too. Maintaining some sort of civility. What's the incentive? Huh? What's the incentive? And it's crazy because Vince hit the like button, Yanni, and Toya says, "LOL, Yanni." Seriously, when she said, "What's the incentive?" I should have been thinking about that too. What's the incentive? Well, for her, she was talking about individually, so that's different. I'll leave that alone. But overall, going to what Toya's saying, what the incentive on a macro level for women writ large participating in getting into relationships with men and being married and having children and forming quote unquote community for real, not this play community stuff where it's a bunch of women and their LGBTQ homeboys doing their best rendition of Golden Girls. What's the incentive on a macro level? Keeping society from being a goddamn anarchy. That's the incentive. Not backsliding into anarchy. That's the incentive. You know what the incentive is? Not having goddamn JD Vance a heartbeat away from the presidency. That's the incentive. Huh? Not having Stephen Miller in the White House again in a more official capacity this time. Goddamn. Uh oh. Huh? And whoever this UN ambassador guy is supposed, UN ambassador person supposed to be. Uh oh. That's the incentive. Huh? If you want the small hats to stop doing what they're doing, their little slice of Europe that they have in the Middle East, and you're also give mid the middle finger, you don't understand what you just did. You're not doing the social math. You don't understand what you just did. Huh? So to what Toy say, what's the incentive? That's the incentive. Huh? If you care about um not having some mass deportation of immigrants, or at least a humane version of deportation of immigrants, but yet you giving men and young men the middle finger and you wearing short shirts, excuse me, not shorts, but shirts that say boys have the cooties throw rocks at them. If you're doing that, you ain't doing math right, right? And once again, Toya, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. They're not doing math, Toya. They're not doing the social math. They're not. It's short-sighted. It's myopic. It's looking at the world through a straw. However you want to describe it. It's how do you think you were going to be speaking so recklessly, right? Look down on these guys, and you thought they were. Do y'all understand what white manhood is? The whole point was to monopolize the institutions in the power structure. And y'all were antagonizing those men. Why? Because you thought they couldn't flex? Wait, maybe y'all don't understand that the blue collar white guy y'all look down on, his cousin is Stephen Miller. His cousin is JD Vance. Huh? His cousin is Charlie Kirk. His cousin is Loderick Crowder. His cousin is Matt Walsh. Maybe y'all don't get it. His brother is Matt Walsh. Oops. Huh? Y'all don't appreciate that. Some of the brothers y'all look down on, which y'all don't know, is that he's cool with some of these white dudes. Dear black women. Uh oh. They play team sports together. Little do you know. Huh? Little do you know. Matt Gaetz and all of these people, I'm not saying they're not racist. I'm saying they have one or two black dudes that they quote unquote cool with. And they talk. And they go to happy hour occasionally. Uh-oh. Huh? Y'all did this math all the way wrong. I kept saying it. Let me say it again. Because y'all thought y'all were on the right side of history. And you were obsessed with a notion of progress that doesn't say sometimes you get kicked in the gonads and you get pushed back 20 feet. Thank you, AL. I'm gonna start having AL regulate, right? And AL says, "Hey, y'all, um, Mr. Z is spin his ish. Hit the damn like button." And thank you. And Leon says, Z, stop the cap. They are racist. They will not marry black women. We know about Paul Ryan them. Oops, we know. We know about Kid Rock and them. Uh-oh. Huh? We know. Huh? All the white guys who had sex with black women and then they say really racist stuff about black people. Oops. Huh? All the white guys who are cool and they slum it with black dudes when they're young. They have sex with black women when they're young. And then you meet them 10 and 15 and 20 years later and they saying some of the most outlandish anti-black stuff possible. We know about them, right? Man. And Jay West says, JL West says, speaking of the 4B movement, Asian women are starting to beef with Western white women over it as they don't Western white women to mess with it as they don't want. I think you're trying to say Western white women to mess with it. Yeah, because I would argue this, and I think no. Better yet, Dr. Chris Marsh has made this argument. And I want to, if I'm being super dumb level, straight jacket level, genuine, or excuse me, generous to Miss Foster, I'll say she somewhat implied this just at the fringes. I'm getting somewhere here. I would argue that yes, South Korean women are 4B movement, are advocating for this to kind of spite South Korean men. But it's really the institutions in Korea that they're saying you're working us too hard. How are we supposed to have these families when we're working our asses off, little pay, essentially the Korean version of 996? For those of us that understand the Chinese version of 996, all the work that they're doing and blah blah blah. What is it? 9 to 9, 6 days a week or something like that. So essentially the South Korean version of this. We already know about the chaebols. We already know the chaebols got the South Korean politicians in their back pocket, which is funny because it was the South Korean politicians that set up the chaebols to launch South Korea into this type of economy. But now that the chaebols pretty much got a lot of, if not most, South Korean politicians in their back pocket, allegedly. But once again, Mr. Z is not South Korean. This is Mr. Z's observation from the outside looking in. Okay, continuing. Um, so essentially, in many ways, the 4B movement is not as formal, and the South Koreans are. It's the Mouse Utopia project. It's just the institutions are squeezing them. They don't really have the time, the energy, the money, the et cetera, et cetera. Nor do the average South Korean man have the money to make his wife a stay-at-home wife in that way, right? Um, and so I would argue that's a very important element to the 4B movement that American women, American white women in particular, but American women, including black women, don't appreciate that. These women that do know about the 4B movement, they don't appreciate that. Y'all are throwing temper tantrums because you can't make the men do what you want them to do. And now that y'all are speaking about the 4B movement in this way, and I'm probably going to cover this reemergence of this talk of 4B movement, even though we just were covering this a few months ago. Um, I'm probably going to cover this again. It's women throwing a temper tantrum. Even Kim Foster don't take y'all seriously. Even she's saying, "Yeah, y'all don't really mean it, right? Y'all don't really mean it. It's a trend." With that, the women are talking 4B to punish mainly white men, I guess some Latino men, and the 20% or so of black men that voted for Donald Trump. That's not necessarily where South Korean women are coming from that are not having children and whatnot. It's not as formal for them. And for the ones that are, yes, they are on the same thing, let's be honest, but it's not what you're doing in America, right? Or what, not even what y'all doing, what y'all say y'all about to do, right? And quite frankly, let's see how many, especially maybe for Gen Z, that's the case. It's the super youngest of black, or sorry, the super youngest of millennials, not just black millennials. Women, maybe that's the case for them. But once you get to like millennials that are about 35 and older, 36-ish and older, obviously Gen X women, y'all ain't putting the peen down. Stop it. White, black, Latina, Asian, or otherwise. Especially you black Asian, excuse me, you black Latina and white women. Y'all ain't putting the peen down. Stop it. Not with all of y'all complaining and crying in y'all cars. Y'all ain't putting the peen down. Stop. Y'all over here talking about companionship and I'm so lonely. And where are the real men? Are men not dating anymore? Are men not talking to women anymore? Y'all ain't putting the peen down. Stop. Right? So yeah, JL West, that 4B movement thing, all of these women who are now trying to who excuse me, not even trying to, who say they're going to adopt this and this is their way of punishing men. We'll see. I don't buy it. We'll see though. Toya says again, chocolate bar, right? We'll see, Toya. Toya, it's I look, man. And then you hear one of the clips that Miss Foster played was of a woman speaking about the different things you need to do if this is the road you're going to go into, and she speaks about getting your power tools. Shout out to Professor Black Truth. Getting your power tool, learning self defense, getting your other power tool. Roll story. Anyway, and what's interesting about that is that women, I would argue, for the most part, especially Black, Latina, and white women, I don't know so much about Asian women, but I would say yes. Man, y'all want to be hugged up on. Stop. Stop with the BS, man. Somebody play a sound drop of Leon saying, stop the cap, right? Or stop the BS. Stop the BS. Y'all want y'all booty smacked. Y'all want to be hugged up on. Y'all be choked during sex. Oops. Right? Y'all want tender sex. Y'all want rough sex. Y'all want to be hugged up on. You want somebody poking you in the stomach. pun intended, both ways. Um, Stop. Just stop. Huh? It's a bunch of women capping, pretending like they don't enjoy sex, like sex is a chore. Stop. Y'all are not a bunch of white Midwestern moms with slubby looking, pudgy looking white husbands, and you dread having sex with him. That is not what's going on. Stop it, ladies. Stop it. Thank you, Leon. He said, bruh, stop the cap. Come on, man. Y'all like to be kissed on everywhere. Stop. 4B movement. Yeah, that's it. Stop it. Even Miss Foster herself is getting wavy on whether she want to have children or not. She 35, the baby rabies. The reason why Mr. Z is laughing, y'all not OG Kim Foster listeners. Good on you. I really mean that, by the way. Good on you and your sanity. Mr. Z's gone. So y'all not old school Kim Foster listeners. Because you would have never guessed this 5 and 6 years ago. Huh? You would have never guessed 5 and 6 years ago that Miss Foster, of all people, would be going back and forth on whether she want to have children or not. Uh-oh. Yeah, you comfortable now. And by the way, she said any boyfriend before 31 was BS. Oops. Okay, Mr. Donnie Mac, you have to explain this one. And Mr. Donnie Mac, I'm gonna read this one now. And Mr. Donnie Mac says, I'll call their bluff and say that 4B is half measured, as a half measure. Go all the way with 6B4T. You gotta explain that 6B4T. You gotta explain that one. I'm gonna leave it highlighted, but you got me on that one. I'm a little lost. Right. And once again, JL West, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. I'm gonna look at them like I'm gonna look at the likes in a minute, right? And Leon says, when men get past the age of 25, have status doing the sexual work has to be hard, ladies. You must like black broke slaves that live through their their D's. If this is not truly whelp, get to work. Okay, okay. Let me see what that is. Give me a second. Mr. Donnie Mac gave me some homework. Give me a second, y'all. Let me click this real quick. Cut. All right. Sorry, sorry, y'all, for the technical difficulties. My Okay, there we go. All right, let's do that. Hopefully, you guys can still hear Z. And it says the 6B4T movement is an online radical feminist movement that spread from South Korea, whose members organize in opposition to sexism and patriarchal structures. A notable aspect of the 6B4T movement is its members' commitment to never marry men or have heterosexual relations nor bear children. Uh-oh. Mr. Donnie Mac, I don't even got to read the rest. Right? Mr. Donnie Mac, I don't even have to read the rest. And there you go. Yeah, about that. Mr. Donnie Mac, we know they ain't built for it. They ain't built for it. First of all, put the peen down. Secondly, turn off your biological urges if you have them, which most women have them, like almost all women have them, to have children, to bear children. Yeah, nah, Mr. Donnie Mac, they don't got it. They don't got it. First of all, you got to put down the peen first, and they ain't ready. Oh, goddamn. Okay, he said read the next paragraph. Okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay. And he says, read the next paragraph. Give me a second. And it says, beginning in 2019, the movement grew out of the South Korean 4B movement, whose members also renounced sex, child rearing, dating, and marriage with men. In Korean language abbreviation, 6B refers to the same four commandments of 4B movement, as well as not buying sexist products and supporting fellow single women practicing the movement. The excuse me, while 4T refers to rejecting strict beauty standards. Oh, y'all gotta be out here, no hygienes, no shave legs, no makeup, no nothing. Which okay, I guess. Hypersexual depictions of women in Japanese otaku culture, religion, and idol culture. Yeah. So let's read that again because I did my whole monologue for that. And it says, while 4T refers to rejecting strict beauty standards, hypersexual depictions of women in Japanese otaku culture, religion, and idol culture. Yeah. Oh, here's the last one. While a fringe element of China wider feminist movement. Yeah, that's not important. Okay. Yeah. Wow. I just don't see it. Mr. Donnie Mac, I don't see it. I don't see the ladies, I don't see them doing this. I just don't. Not in any significant number. Let's say what? So how many million of women voted for Kamala Harris, whether they wanted to or not? That's besides the point. All of these women who husbands didn't also vote for Kamala Harris, or who boyfriends didn't also vote for Kamala Harris, or are single, y'all just gonna abstain? Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it. Right? You see what I'm saying? And Dell says, let me read Dell's comment. Y'all gives you a second. And Dell says, the most undisciplined women on the planet trying to pull off 4B. Bro, I don't see it, bro. I don't see it. Maybe these women forgot why they had the baby deletion clinics. Uh-oh. You have the baby deletion clinics because you want men to go in, rest in peace, ODB, raw. They go in raw, they shoot up the club. You don't get a morning, the morning after pill, so you end up going to the baby deletion clinic. Yeah, and you try to tell me you don't have the discipline to say no without a condom. You don't have the discipline for the morning after pill. You don't have the discipline for none of that, but you have the discipline to put the peen down in the first place? I don't see it. I just don't see it. I don't see it. It's that simple. It's that simple. Mr. Dardymac, once again, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, it ain't a thing. Dear ladies, I'm sorry. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Call Mr. Z. Shout out to Mr. Donnie Mac. He's call it their bluff. I agree. Call their bluff. I don't see it, ladies. I don't. And Passport G says, so what does 4B Christmas slash Valentine's Instagram look like? You know, was it this year Valentine's Day? A little bit after Valentine's Day? I want to say it was this year Valentine's Day. Jason Black on his The Business Channel covered Valentine's Day or the lack thereof. I think Galentine's Day. I think he made another stream maybe a month or so later covering this, and I don't think I could do a better job than him. Pretty much describing men not buying stuff for women, not doing for women. Um, we already know about the wedding shops closing all across the country, because marriage is going to the crapper. It's an elite institution more and more, right? So yeah, you have a request, Passport OG. Mr. Donnie Mac says, I'd love to hear your take on the 6B4T as well, Passport OG. Right? So yeah, once again, thank you for the super chat, Mr. Tony Mac. But yeah, so I don't um actually let me go back to what Passport OG was saying. Yeah, Passport OG, I think Jason Black covered it better than I if I can remember it, I will email it to you, Passport OG, if I can remember to do it. Right? And yeah. If I can remember to do it, I will send it to you. But yeah, I don't think I could do a better job than what Jason Black did with on the business channel when he covered it was both Valentine's Day and he covered something else similar ish to that. And yeah, he just knocked it out the park. He knocked it out the park, to be honest with you. And Leon says, Z, you're talking about women that will take prep Truvida, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, to have unprescripted sex with suspected men and get abortions. Damn, she missed the birth control pill. Wow, wow, wow. See, yeah, they lack discipline. That's what I just read from what you said. They lack the discipline. They lack the discipline, right? So, yeah, um, and I could tie that right back to the subject matter. The Empire Strikes Back is white men flexing their power. It is white men who are tired of snarky a-hole women, particularly obviously for them white women. But if you, dear black women, y'all already know if America has a cold, black people have the flu. If white men are tired of seeing smug ass Leisha Millers running around here, what do you think they think about Kim Foster? If they're tired of Leisha Miller, what do you think they think about Kim Foster? And this is not about, once again, educated, intelligent women. Mr. Z, love him some educated women. As a matter of fact, the sister I was talking about earlier from the DMV, the tag agency, she was college educated. How do you know, Z? Because the tag she chose. Uh-oh. I ain't gonna say no more before she be like, oh, that's you. Before she a ghost listener. You never know. This world is small, right? So this is not about anti-intellectualism. This is not about, anti I guess college educated women or educated women or aspiring women or aspirational women. This is not about any of that. This is about what you then do with that status and that education and that position and how you look on others. And this is why, shout out to the funky academic, towards the end of his stream, he was speaking about essentially the Kim Foster types. Oops. But and that's Mr. Z saying that. So y'all, if y'all listening in, I'm not saying that Armio Sifrimpong co-signs anything that Mr. Z is saying right now. What I am saying is this smug ass attitude about a particular type of labor in America. You don't really see this come from men, particularly black men. I don't see it online from black men. I don't see it in person in real life from black men. White collar brothers, tech bros. There is not this smug looking down on, at least not in public, to men in general who have to work with their hands and get dirty and do different type of jobs. From the ladies, on the other hand, I want y'all to understand much of, I would argue, why you see these men flirting with the right is because of the Democrats oftentimes not doing right by them, um, letting unions get punched in the peen over the past couple decades, leaving them to their own devices. But it's also because of the type of women that these institutions are producing. that look down on these men. All of these things are tied. The social math is real, everyone. The social math is real. All of these things are interconnected, all of them. Yes, people are at the ballot box voting about their intimacy or lack thereof. God damn, Z, you said that. I said it. Now that we're here now. Say it again, Z. Now that we're here now. Huh? Nick Fuentes told y'all what it is. Mr. Z doesn't buy into that, by the way. Your body, my choice. That's cringe. But Nick Fuentes told y'all the quiet part out loud for a nice chunk of young white men. Nick Fuentes is a young white man. Would your average white man say that? Maybe your average young white man? Probably not. Are they thinking it though? Ooh. Are they feeling it though? Ah. Uh-oh. Man. The, Passport OG say that. And Passport OG says, I'm altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further. White men to liberal women. You know, um, and Kareem, you know what? God damn, I just added another goddamn stream to this list. So a couple years ago, I spoke about the social contract, and Kareem said, essentially, Z, you got to do a stream on the social contract. So I just remember that I just put my foot in my mouth. But yeah. So stream coming, and that's another stream, yeah, on the list of streams. But that's essentially what I just read from what Passport OG said here, which is the social contract. And Anne Marie Slaughter spoke to that a little bit when she spoke about, essentially it's the women that don't find these men attractive or manly. These women who are trying to be captain of industry. If men, particularly white men, said, okay, ladies, you want to go to school, you want to get your education, fine, we won't stand in the way. You want to do your own thing, fine, we won't stand in the way. You want to make your own money, fine, we won't stand in the way. You want your own credit cards, fine, we won't stand in the way. Dear women, white women in particular, you know you were still supposed to marry those men, right? You know you were still supposed to marry those men and have their children, right? You know you were not supposed to look down on them and think you're better than them, right? You know much of why we got Donald Trump is because of you, right? You a-holes. Huh? Leon gave Z a preemptive FU. He says, Z, FU because it will happen when I am at work. How do you know? You're not sure about that. Maybe, probably, but still, right? So, yeah, no, this is where we are now. This is where we are, people, right? And as Passport OG said, I'm altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further. White men to liberal women. Dear, and all of these women that say, oh, I would never marry someone who has different political views from me. All right, white men heard that. Not black men, white men heard that. Yeah, about that, right? And once again, Donnie Mac, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. And Art Design says this is cultural appropriation of a international movement. How unoriginal. And let's read that again. This is cultural appropriation of an international movement. How unoriginal. Bro, when don't women miss an opportunity to stick their finger in men's eye, to kick dust in their eye, right? Huh. Oh yeah, I heard they doxed him. I heard they doxed him. And Vegas Dev says Nick Fuentes pepper sprayed some chick who showed up at his door. Is this still related to like? Yeah, I heard they doxed him. Right? I heard they doxed him. And you see what he said. Let's continue with that. What else did he say? He didn't just say your body, my choice, or your body, our choice, referring to men. He also said there will never, never, never be a woman president or female president in America. And see, that I disagree with. There will be. There will be. I do see that happening. Right? Who is a different conversation, but I think so. I think there will be. Right? Yeah. Oh, so yeah, and Vegas was yeah after they doxed him. Yep. Yep. Dear women, that changes nothing. Y'all running up on Nick Fuentes changes nothing. It changes nothing. Huh? He only told you the sentiment of just about all men outside of the majority of black men. The majority of black men are used to black women deleting our children. I said it the way I meant it. Uh-oh. Huh? Y'all seen the clip with the dude who thought he was shooting blanks. Come to find out, she what got her tubes out or something like that. The clip. I said sorry. The brother who over here being about himself, but he think he's shooting blanks. Come to find out, she can't have kids. I think she once again she had her tubes tied, something like that. Huh? So yeah, it is, and into what Otto's saying, yo, no, it is a cultural appropriation on a international level. Yeah, which is hysterical with black women, speaking about cultural appropriation, complaining about cultural appropriation. I understand it. I get it. With that, y'all adopted this though, huh? Because you can't miss an opportunity to stick your finger in black men's eye, or in this case, stick your finger in men's eye in general, huh? Just saying. Mr. Shook to use his do rag tinfoil. I don't see Trump completing his term and Vance steps up and does a couple more terms. Only then will someone like Tosi get the nod. I see what you're saying. Let's shelf that, right? Let's shelf that. I think Trump got too much ego to step down. But, there has been crazier. I mean, we just literally watched a president get shoved to the side. So, yeah. I can't say we haven't seen stranger, right? I don't see it, but yeah, it's possible. Shout out to South Florida and lifted F-250s, turbo diesel F-250s. For those of you that can hear the diesel, right? Goddamn monster trucks we got in South Florida. I'm telling y'all, right? So yeah. So on that note, y'all check out the links in the description box. I really wanted y'all to check out the links in the description box. If y'all could get through it with Miss Foster, I'm telling you, yeah, her intro is long and all the monologuing and then the advertising yawn, but it's interesting, and I really want to go through because I was at work listening to this stuff. I really want to go through her live comments because the few chances I got to glance at the live comments, oh boy, right? So I think, and yeah, I agree. And Mr. Shuktiyu says Army hit a home run. I think Army assessment of the Donald Trump J presidency, I, I agree with you. I think it's accurate. Oh, Vince, I wasn't paying attention to see what time. And Vince says, where should we start the video at? Yeah, I wasn't paying attention. My apologies. Vince says, can't sit to the torture. Okay, I ain't trying to torture y'all. I ain't trying to torture y'all, right? I don't want y'all to have to go through mental anguish on behalf of Z. Nah, don't do that. Um, but yeah, so what Mr. Shook to you saying, no, I think is accurate. I think our assessment is accurate. I think there's this ups. I'm not against progress or anything like that. An aspiration. Mr. Z has aspirations, right? Some lofty, some crazy, like I don't know how you gonna make that work. Some more, down to earth, but we're all human, so we all have, a confluence of a bunch of things that we're trying to do, we want to achieve, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. With that, there back, right? So, as he was saying, there is this idea of this, there's this assumption that progress is going to continue. We're going to continue to go down this road and we're going to keep on knocking down certain barriers. And the people that don't want this or don't like this or don't approve of this, we vanquish them, right? I really wanted to do the Harry Potter thing, but I forgot the goddamn saying that I want to use when you just wish something away or whatever the hell. But right, you just wave your wand and just wish something away, and we continue to make these steps forward, right? What the definition of forward is to progressives and liberals, right? And we just rack up victories. And I think there's this assumption that that's what it's always going to be. And I think all of us, to be honest with you, are going to have to we're going to have to come to terms with that may not be the case, right? That may not be the case. And we're here now. Now that we're here, we're here. That's going to be something really difficult for a lot of Xers, millennials, and the oldest of Gen Z to come to terms with. You want to know why? Because they, especially the women, ooh, the women, because they took negative liberty for granted. They took it for granted. They took my body, my choice for granted, right? They took I do what I want to do, how I want to do it, and there is a society and a quote unquote community that will catch me, or at least one of these lame ass dudes who've been drooling that on me since I was in high school. Maybe I'll catch up with him and he'll fund my life. Shout out to Ti. You can have whatever you like, right? they took for granted that there was some type of safety net. And I agree. I think we should still have a safety net. I'm not about shredding the safety net because of wayward women that take advantage of it and, loser men. I'm not about that. With that said, though, there was an assumption that there would be a robust safety net or at least some individual in these women's life that would catch them if they make an egregious mistake. Or if they were spiteful, angry, mean artards and they got kicked off the ladder to success, there would be some safety net or some loser ass dude, maybe with money, that catches them. We may not be in that world anymore, right? And with Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk at the helm of organizations like the NLRB, oh boy. Ooh, it's about to look ugly. It's about to look ugly, everyone. So, like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Thank you button for the replay squad. Right? Onasi, you have a really weird view of these things to me. And Onasi says, I'm not in favor of a safety net. When people know that there is no net, people, especially women, start acting right. Or they start acting even more wrong. You don't have enough police. Or they start acting more wrong. I'm not about shredding the safety net because of weirdos who take advantage of it. That's what having another organization to watch out for the weirdos who's gonna take advantage of the safety net is for. But not only that, I'm not about punishing everyone because there's always going to be people that try to find some type of loopholes and some type of way around to get a few more dollars here or take advantage of this, you know, program or that program. I'm not about punishing everyone, right? If you're struggling to find a job for 6 or 9 months, maybe even a year or so, I'm not about you just being out here in the wilderness, having to move in back with your parents or going homeless because you're struggling to find work. What about when we're in the downtime of economy, right? There are a bunch of skilled workers and knowledgeable people who are just struggling to find work at this time. What are they supposed to do, right? And you're always going to have people that don't earn enough. What are they supposed to do? Right? Even for the people that do have jobs. Or what about the people that, okay, fine, they're used to a certain type of job, earning a certain type of money, but they have a family or they got to do certain things, so they have to take some menial job for now, but they might have to be on some type of government assistance to make ends meet. What are they supposed to do? They do have a job and just don't pay enough. Think Walmart workers, right? And Onasi says, why is it weird? No safety net promote community building. I think you meant to community building and self-sufficiency. That's a good thing. It doesn't build self-sufficiency, bro, in community. That's not the world that America, not even America, that's not the world the West has been building for the past 40, 50 years, 40-ish years. Are you ready or not, Onasi? Are you ready to disavow Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher and Frederick Hayek and Milton Friedman and the Chicago Boys and all the people that pushed to us there's no such thing as society, there's only individuals and families. Are you ready to disavow that? Because if you're not, then you can't also say this. Huh? And I don't really see these people actually shrinking big government. I think they create the mechanisms that big government doesn't work for the individual, it only works for the corporations and the big banks. In my estimation, it won't actually be a real trimming of the fat. It'll just be redirecting where the fat goes. Huh? That's my argument. My argument is that the conservatives talk a good game, but they don't actually ever really shrink government. They just redirect where the emphasis and the money goes, where the tax dollars go. And Onasi says, so you don't think people were more self-sufficient 100 years ago? People were capable of making their own clothes. No, I don't think people were more self-sufficient 100 years ago. Because about 95 years ago, you know what you were in? We're in 2024. What was 95 years ago? The Depression. And what did that do to the Western economy? Wreck it. People were not more self-sufficient 100 years ago. Because 95 years ago, you had the recession. And if people were so self-sufficient, you wouldn't have communities and societies. You wouldn't have nations. You wouldn't have cities. You wouldn't have states. If people were so super self-sufficient, they wouldn't live on top of each other in New York and in other major cities in the country. If people were so self-sufficient, people are not that self-sufficient, right? We don't even have we don't even live in the world where people can be that self-sufficient. Thank you. And Jake says, I'm not trying to make no damn clothes. We don't live in that world. You self-sufficiency would mean you don't work for that corporation. Self-sufficiency would mean you don't work for that big bank. Self-sufficiency, quite frankly, you wouldn't even really be working. Well, you would be working for yourself, but you would be working to make those clothes and churn that butter, right? That's just not the world we live in. We don't live in that world. And Onasi says, yeah, I definitely disagree. A recession doesn't mean people weren't self-sufficient. Their self-sufficiency is how they survived the depression. But a lot didn't, right? Recall after the depression, who did you get, everyone? What president came after the depression? Uh-oh. Anybody want who wants to mention what president got 3 terms and died in office? Huh? Just saying. FDR, everyone. FDR. Franklin Delano Roosevelt. He was the response to the Depression, Great Society, all the social programs. We're not self-sufficient, Onasi. If you don't believe me, go ask your foremothers and forefathers in America why they elected FDR. And why did the elites try to get him deleted with what was it called? Operation Northwoods? Huh? Just saying, right? Y'all give Z 1 second. I want to make sure I say the right thing. Yeah, March 4th, 1933 to April 12th, 1945. That's when he passed. Yeah, 33, right? True, and Trell says Truman technically came after the Depression ended when World War II started. Well, when the U.S. got involved in World War II, better yet, right? The World War II been started, but yeah, I get what you're saying, Trell, right? But the response was FDR. That's what I'm trying to emphasize. I don't know if we so self-sufficient. right? Duh. Well, Nasi says that's fine if we don't live in that world. All I'm saying is that you guys, whether you like it or not, are losing this gimme handout thing. The country is moving hard right, including black men. It's gonna move back hard left because I think it sounds nice until you have to live it. I think what human beings do is they have short ass memories. And so you build a thing to protect you from the thing you just got attacked by or you just got eaten by. You build it, and then one or two or three, 4 generations later, you forgot why you built the thing in the first place. You tear it down, and then you get attacked again, and you're like, God damn it, right? Glass Steagall, everyone, right? You build a thing, excuse me, you construct the thing, you sign the documents, you sign the bills, right? To protect you from the thing that you just got ate by, and then a generation or two or three or four, you forget why you did it, so you take it away, and then you get ate again, right? Exactly. And Vince is waxing and waning, right? And Trail says it is a pendulum; it swings back and forth. I'm saying. International Road says, so Z, will the move back to the hard left be Return of the Jedi? Yeah, but I think they might learn their lesson this time. Just like how the right is learning their lesson. The right is somewhat playing footsies with union and labor. Do they really mean it? I don't think the right has the mechanisms to have big corporate donors and labor in the same party, right? You can't have labor organizers. Well, let me take that back. Let's see if they can pull out a magic trick. It's going to be interesting to see union leaders and Elon Musk be part of the same party. This is going to be interesting because I think both parties are dead, to be honest with you. I just think we just witnessed, and when I say that, not dead, dead as in nobody will ever vote Democrat or Republican again. I'm saying their their overall power, I think, has waned greatly. You just watch the left collapse in your face. You don't really appreciate that the right is a walking corpse, though. Is what I'm saying. And I would like to direct you to the fact that you have the Teamsters, union leader speaking at the RNC, and yet Elon Musk is maybe potentially going to be head of the NLRB. It's fascinating. Let's see if the Republicans can make this work. This is going to be a magic trick of all magic tricks if they can make this work. Right? I said that the other night too. And Trail said the modern wigs. Yeah, I said that the other night. Yeah, that's true. Right? It's not going to take that long. Onasi says, I'm sure it will swing back as that is how history works. But will any of us even be alive for it? You could have Republican dominance for a decade. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree that you could have Republican dominance for a decade. I already predicted that JD Vance could potentially win in 2028 and in 2032. Um, so I agree with that. I mean, think of Reagan coming in the door in what 81, and then you didn't see anything, or at least you didn't see another Democrat president until what 92, 3 when Clinton got elected. So I'm agreeing with you on that, but that's a decade from now. That's not 40 years from now. Um, what I am saying though is I don't think it's going to take that long if the Democrats know what's good for them, right? That's hysterical, Vince. Vincent the Wiggers. right? That's hysterical, right? Let me get out of here, y'all. Let me get out of here. We was not supposed to stream this long. Um, so to end out, this is the Empire Strikes Back. This is white men reasserting. Notice I didn't say reestablishing or anything, reasserting their dominance, right? How long does this last? I don't have a crystal ball. But I do think that white men will bolster up the mechanisms that solidify their power, especially as the white population slowly transitions into, or America, better yet, slowly transitions into a majority minority country as the white population continues to go down. Right now, if I'm not mistaken, they're around 60%. Within the next coming decades, they're supposed to be falling down to about 50%. Um, they'll still be the largest group in America, but it won't be 65, 70, 75% of the US population anymore. And as the white population in the US goes down to 50 or 48 or 49%, 55%, I foresee white men either once again bolstering the institutions that solidify their power or shred the institutions that challenge their power. Both, actually, right? And it will go along class lines, obviously race and gender, right? And that's going to leave a lot of black women in the lurch. And I wonder how much Miss Foster has considered that even if you are to, let's say JD Vance doesn't win in 2028, the next Republican candidate you have to get into the White House will be most likely a Trump fan. I would argue Trump has changed the Republican Party for a lifetime. I don't think you go back to the Mitt Romney Republicans for a lifetime, if ever, right? If ever. I think with Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz and all of these establishment Republicans paying fealty and bowing their heads to the Donald Trump version of the Republican Party, I don't think you go back to the I don't think you go back to the McCain and the yeah, I don't think you go back to that type of Republican Party maybe for a lifetime at best, right? So this is going to be interesting. Um, yeah, interesting times we live in, right? So tying that to the Empire Strikes Back, this is white men reestablishing themselves, especially as their population goes down, as I said earlier. And ah, right. I think what Nick Fuentes said here is how a lot of white guys feel. Um, they just don't have it in them to say it because the institutions we have, you can't speak this way in public. But Nick Fuentes said it. Oh yeah, we've been out of the Rockefeller era. Oh, that's been gone. Trell Bentley says no more Rockefellers. Oh no, we out of the Rockefeller era. The Rockefeller Republicans, we've been out of that. And Detroit says not even the George Bush days. George Bush Jr., I think at best you go back to those days. Best. That's the best you'll get. That's the best you'll get. The Nixonian Bush Jr. Republicans, I don't think so. Notice I didn't even say anything about Bush Sr. or Reagan. Kind of the more statesman of them. Oh, nope. right? So yeah, no, I think this is a possibly a permanent change because Mike Pence represents old school Republican, and he did not co-sign. That's why they were talking about hanging Pence. He didn't co-sign what Trump was on January 6th. He didn't co-sign that. Yep, this is where we are now. Now that we're here now, right? So on that note, everyone, we'll pause right here. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content. Shout out to Dr. T. I'm gonna catch his his stream from earlier. Well, the whole thing. I caught a lot of it, but I'll catch the whole thing. Um, yeah, shout out to the replay gang. Thank you button, right? And yeah, y'all go ahead and check out the links. For those of you that can stomach it, check out Kim Foster. Yeah, she's gonna make you throw up maybe. But yeah. And on that note, y'all have a great rest of your night. Mr. Z out.